Welcome to LawRuler. We're glad that you're here. In this tutorial, we're going to review over managing a case inside of LawRuler. Keep in mind, the case management tutorial builds on the intake tutorial, so there are some items in the intake tutorial that were covered that will not be covered in the case management tutorial. The first step in LawRuler to managing a case is converting an intake to a case in LawRuler. That can be done on the intake details page by navigating down to the bottom and clicking the Make a Case button. Clicking the button will ask you to confirm that you want to convert this lead to a case. Once you click OK, we've now converted this lead into a case inside of LawRuler. As a case, you'll notice a couple of subtle differences. We have a case name, which you can edit on the top. We also have some additional financial details that have been added so that you can take advantage of LawRuler's billing features. And finally, we've added some additional fields to take advantage of in the case information, so this way you can track some additional information while managing the case. Something that's very important when managing a case is going to be adding all of your additional stakeholders. So adding any additional context that might be relevant to the case is going to be very important. So right now we're going to just add a insurance company so that we can run through our settlement. So we'll choose an insurance company, and we will search for an existing insurance company inside of LawRuler, and we will add that insurance company as an additional contact on this record. Notice in the ribbon we now see case form, so here we can actually have case specific questions, whereas previously when it was a lead or an intake, we could actually have intake specific questions. The key dates are very important when it comes to managing a case, as these key dates can trigger workflows. For example, a workflow can be set up for SOL date, that when you enter in a date for the SOL, the system can automatically trigger tasks and reminders leading up to that specific date. Notes are a great way to collaborate inside of LawRuler. So if you need to communicate with another member of your team, adding a note is a great way to do that. You can always hit the @ symbol, bring up any other users inside of the portal that you want to collaborate with, and here you can mention them in a note, so we can say that this is a test case note, and anybody who's been mentioned will receive this note via email, and we'll also add the note, so here we can see who's been communicated with. Documents are very important when it comes to managing a case. Inside of each record we have our own document management system. There is a system-wide view of the documents on the left side, so if you need to pull up any document in LawRuler, you can do that from the documents in the left side menu. For in a specific case, I can access all the documents related to that case from the documents folder. If I need to upload documents or generate new documents, I can always do that. I can upload documents by dragging and dropping them or browsing on my computer. If I need to generate new documents, LawRuler does have an integration with Office 365 where you can generate any of those documents inside of LawRuler. Otherwise, we can use a template and generate any template that we have inside of the system and merge it with all of the client's information. Next, we have our tasks. Tasks are very important. They're triggered by automations and by milestones as well as by key dates, and tasks will really help you stay on track. If you need to add a new task, you can do that manually by adding a new task. Also, the system, like I said, can trigger automated tasks such as your SOL date based on your key dates. Next, if I want to see all the correspondence I've had with this particular record, I can see that under the Emails tab. Here I can see any emails that were sent to and from the client. I can always email them directly through LawRuler. If I sync my email with LawRuler, as we've seen in the intake training, I can actually merge those emails directly back into my inbox. If I ever need to print to PDF or export any of the emails in LawRuler, I can do that by clicking the Print to PDF button. I can also print individual emails as well. Staying in touch with your clients via text is also very important, and with LawRuler you can send instant two-way communications via SMS. Simply draft your text message here. You can even include smiley faces and emojis, and this is instant two-way communication via SMS with your clients. In the event that you need to send an ESign to one of your clients, you can always navigate to the ESign tab. Here we can select recipients. If we want to send this ESign, we can choose who the ESign agreement goes to via email and via text, and we can also choose who a carbon copy of that agreement is delivered to as well. simply enter in the email address and phone number, click Send ESign. If we have the client in the office, they can actually sign directly either on an iPad or on a computer by clicking the Sign Now option. Moving right along, you can also track all of your medical record orders inside of LawRuler. We do have an integration with a medical retrieval company called National Records Retrieval. So using the records section, you can, if you do have that integration active, you can actually place your orders directly with them. Otherwise, this section can be used just to track your existing orders. You'll just enter in the information in the form, select your documents that you'll use, add your medical providers and the nature of the order, and click Submit. And at that point, you can track any existing orders that are inside of the system in the medical record orders section right here. LawRuler can also be used to track all of your case expenses. So we can do that by navigating to the Expenses tab on the top ribbon. Keep in mind we do have a complete video on how to use LawRuler for billing, so I definitely recommend that you check that out. You can always check out our YouTube channel by accessing the Help menu on the left side of the page and selecting YouTube channel, and that way you can see all of our other useful videos. When we're ready to add a new expense, you'll click the Add Expense button. This will bring up our new expenses screen. Here we have a couple of different expense types, so depending on your billing type for this particular case, that will unlock the different cost types that we have inside of LawRuler. In this example, we'll choose a soft cost, which is something due to the firm. So maybe we'll say $5,000, and it will say activities, and we'll say this is a sample expense, and we'll create that expense inside of LawRuler. We're going to also add another expense so that we can take advantage of our settlement calculator. So for this one, we'll add a special damage. This is going to be an expense due to a third party. So let's say this is a hospital bill, for example. So we can select that vendor. We'll enter in the amount for the bill. We can even choose client medical bills, and that will even allow us to choose a specific service type, which we can then go ahead and add. Now that I've click the Create Expense button, here we can see the two different expenses that I've added to this record. LawRuler can also be used to track time entries. So here we have two different types of time entries. You can manually add a time entry for your hourly billing cases. We also have a timer that you can start. If you start the timer, it will track whatever page you go to. You have the option to pause the timer, restart the timer, or you can stop the timer, and that will create your time entry inside of LawRuler. Depending on the type of billing that you do, you can also create invoices based off of expenses. I can click the Invoices tab, click the New Invoices button. Here, this will allow me to pull all of these different cost types onto my invoice. I'll click Create and View. This will generate a draft mode of my invoice where here I can make some manual edits if necessary. Finally, I can save an email to the client or save and close. Once I save and close, this will convert the invoice from a draft to an actual invoice. Since this particular example is a contingency type case, I'm going to go ahead and proceed with generating a settlement. So the first thing that we'll do for a settlement is we'll add a new deposit. So we'll select the deposit. We're going to add the amount of the settlement. So let's say it's $25,000. It's going to be a deposit. We'll select the trust account to drop the deposit in, and we will say it is paid by our additional contact, which is our health insurance company, and we'll say it was made by wire, for example, and here we can enter in a reference number. I will go ahead and save my deposit, and now we can see that the deposit has been added to the trust account. Now that I have my various expenses and my deposit, I can go ahead with processing my settlement. I can navigate to the Settlements tab. Here I will click the New Settlements button. What the system is going to do, it's going to ask me to add a description. I can call this a test. It's going to ask me to include which deposits I want on this settlement. I'll include my deposit from my health insurance company, any date range. I'm going to exclude time entries from this settlement, but I'll include all of my different expenses. I'll go ahead and click the Create and View button so I can review my settlement worksheet. Here I'm looking at my settlement worksheet where the system has taken my deposit into my trust account. It's taken any attorney fees associated with this case, any expenses that are going to be recovered, so soft costs due to the firm, as well as any expenses that are going to go to any third-party vendors that are going to come from this settlement. And so here we have the total settlement amount, any deductions that are going to come out, and the net amount that's due to the client. I can go ahead, once I review my settlement, if everything looks good, I can go ahead and click the Save button, and that will convert my settlement from a draft to a settlement. Once I've converted my settlement to a draft, I can go ahead and send it to the client to ESign, or I can print it out. Now that I've processed my settlement, I can go review the bank transactions, which show everything that's taken place so far in the portal. I can also review my audit log, which shows all of the different activity that's taken place so far on this record. This wraps up our case management tutorial. I encourage you to visit our Help Center on the right side of the page. Here you have access to our support forum, our YouTube channel where we have lots of different videos that cover a variety of different topics. You can always check out our Getting Started tutorial that's available in the side menu, as well as any of these other tutorials that you see. Also in our support forum we have lots of different articles and threads that you can check out, and if you ever do need support, you can always reach out to our support team directly at support@lawruler.com, or you can visit our support forum directly at support.lawruler.com. As always, thank you for choosing LawRuler. If you have any support questions, we're here to help. You are welcome to contact us via email at support@lawruler.com. You can also access our online support forum located at support.lawruler.com. If you ever need done-for-you consulting, it is billed hourly and available for you, so please inquire whenever you need our expert team to do something on your behalf.